Good morning, everybody, and welcome in to the Farzy show here at the Steven Singer Studios, a Friday edition. I want to say this before we get to anything. Top of the show, just want to mention this. There may be a show on Monday. There may not be a show on Monday. I'm going away. I'm going to find out tomorrow probably whether or not I can get internet connection because I'd like to do some semblance of a show from my kayak on the lake I'll be at in the Poconos with some friends. And I'm hoping I can do that show for you while I'm fishing, while I'm out there trying to catch a nice walleye, maybe a largemouth bass if I'm lucky. Maybe first I got to use my mouth. There we go. But Derrick Gunn will join the show today to not only talk football, to not only talk baseball, how about that, but also talk about his amazing abilities in the fishing game. So we'll talk to Gunner about that coming up in a little bit here. But I will let you know on social media whether or not we'll do any semblance of a show come Monday morning. I'm hoping we can. Hopefully we can talk about Sixers win over the Clippers. That'd be nice. But we got a lot to get to on today's show, even on a day where the Phillies didn't even play baseball. And tell me that wasn't a gift. We'll get to that in a second. We got Joel Embiid in the MVP voting, not looking so hot right now. And I'm not surprised for two reasons. One, the real reason, which is Joker has had an amazing season. He hasn't been hurt like Joel Embiid, so all that. And that's going to go into it. And there was a media poll that went out. I think it was done by ESPN that actually said that Nikola Jokic actually has 90%. 90% of first place votes for the MVP in the NBA, and that doesn't help Joel Embiid's cause too much. The other reason that not real answer is that just we have to say this because we're in Philadelphia. Why does national media hate us? But anyway, but no, it's got to be Joel Embiid. You mean to this is what I always try to think about when it comes to the MVP and also judging greatest players ever. It really comes down to a couple of things, but the main thing that I think it should come down to is when you have an MVP candidate and they're close, like Joker and Embiid, and you go to injury and say, all right, right now Joker has the advantage. After that, it should come down to if there was going to be a draft in the league this year, like league-wide, a draft, you mean to tell me you take Joker over Joel Embiid? That in itself is a joke with the way Joel Embiid has played basketball this season. This isn't like the Rookie of the Year award where he only played 28 games but was still the best rookie we saw that year. It's not like that. He still played the vast majority of the season. He missed 3 weeks of the season because of an injury he had, unfortunately, while they were on the road against Washington. That shouldn't cost him the MVP award. If he has been the most valuable player through the entire year, then you got to pick him as the MVP. The other thing that helps Joker watching him play this year is the assists. His assists are like triple what Joel Embiid's are. So there goes the argument that he's the guy that makes everybody else better. That would go more towards Joker than it would for JoJo, unfortunately. But I just think watching both those guys play throughout the year, you can't tell me that Joel Embiid has not been the better basketball player than Nikola Jokic. You can't tell me that and have it be the truth. No doubt in my mind that Joel Embiid has been the MVP of the league this year. I tweeted it out the other night. I wasn't kidding when I tweeted it out. I meant it. And this little vote that came out here is just complete hogwash and poppycock. That's how I rule it. We also got some Flyers news. Hey, let's talk some Flyers. We got some Eagles news as well. A proposed trade by Mike K of NJ.com, friend of the show, of course, put it out there. And we had talked about this a couple weeks ago, actually. Can you package Zach Ertz on draft day with another pick somewhere else to move up? And I think that's the most logical way to give Zach Ertz what he wants, which is an opportunity with another franchise, and also get what you want in return, which is a higher draft pick. The proposal was a second-round pick and Zach Ertz to move up into the late first round, which I know jumping out at people, you might think that's crazy. There's no way the Eagles essentially got a first-round pick for Zach Ertz. But if you're talking about a trade with the Bills, for instance, who could certainly use a tight end, if you're talking about a trade with the Bills and you're talking about somebody who's picking in the late first round and you're given a second-round pick, I think it's possible. I definitely think that's possible. If I'm the Bills and I know I'm going to get a veteran tight end who still's got plenty left in the tank, yeah, I'm going to make that deal. I'm going to make that deal. If I'm a team that's even picking after 25 in the first round of the upcoming draft, which, by the way, 2 weeks away, if I'm any team, I'm going to be looking at it and going, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll make that move. Now, we'll get Derrick Gunn's thoughts on that coming up in just a little bit, as well as this is what's interesting. He also interviewed Zach Berman around the same time we did, and his interview is on his podcast, Gunn on One. And I asked Derrick Gunn, what jumped out to you? Because what jumped out to me was Zach Berman saying that a team that often preaches collaboration hardly ever uses it. So I asked Derrick Gunn what jumped out at him, and we'll let you hear his answer coming up in just a minute here. But let's start out with this. When it comes to dissecting something, let's dissect a nice Flyers win here. As far as the postseason goes, I don't have faith. Here's the moment right now. I'm telling you, I don't have faith. And I think I pretty much told you this already. But they win yesterday 2-1 in the shootout, or in the skills competition, as Elaine Vigneault said yesterday, as he always says about the shootout. Carter Hart played spectacular. He played spectacular hockey, came up with some huge saves. Ivan Provorov got his stick on the puck a couple of times just at the right moment that helped Carter Hart out. But bottom line was Carter Hart, I felt, was the star of the show yesterday for the Flyers against Pittsburgh Penguins. One goal he allowed, and it was on really, I hate Sidney Crosby, just like you do. But it was on some kind of spectacular goal from Sidney Crosby where he lost his skate in the defensive zone, skated by his own, a breakaway occurred. He skated by his own bench. Somebody handed him a stick. He goes into the offensive zone, buries the puck in the back of the net behind Carter Hart. I don't like Sidney Crosby even a little bit. Hate the guy. However, that was awesome. I wish that happened with us. But anyway, when it comes to the rest of this Flyers team, Sean Couturier was able to, James Van Riemsdyk was able to tie the score, or Jake Voracek, Jake Voracek was able to tie the score at 1 in the third period. They go to overtime. They survive a storm from the Penguins. They go into the shootout, and I don't know where these goals came from, but Sean Couturier buried the puck in the back of the net with some kind of sorcery. I don't even know how, as Carter Hart said after the game, he shelved it, and he did. And then Claude Giroux comes out with an amazing goal in the shootout, and that ends up being the winner. Carter Hart makes the save on the other end. Flyers win the game 2-1. Now, I told you before, I'm out on the Flyers. They're I love them and all that stuff. I watch the games and follow them and all that stuff still. I just don't think they have that magic in them to make some sort of playoff run right now. I'd love to see it, love to be wrong, but I just don't see it happening. We can officially say that my faith is gone when it comes to the Flyers making the playoffs this year. So now we go into the phrase of we go into the area of rooting to be wrong, as I so often do. You're going to see some of these younger guys come up here and get opportunities. You're going to see some first NHL games like you did yesterday. You're going to see some of these guys come up and try to make a name for themselves. Well, I'm hoping that does give them some kind of spark, because I think that's the last really remaining thing here to give them some sort of spark. And we talked to Jordan Hall earlier in the week. He said you could expect to see Cam York up here in the next couple of weeks, which would be great. Get his feet wet at the NHL level. But watching this Flyers team play throughout the game last night, I thought this would be a game where Elaine Vigneault would come out after the game and say, it was good to see, great to see that kind of effort from our goaltender. Great job, Carter Hart. Way to be out there, buddy. Because he has been kind of the opposite of bullish. He's been kind of timid when trying to offer, hesitant would be the more appropriate word, of trying to lavish praise on Carter Hart. And last night I thought would actually be an opportunity for him to do it. He didn't. And he was asked after the game about, hey, look, of all the games that Carter Hart has played since coming back after the reset, as they called it, the week off of not playing games, essentially, since the reset, was this Carter Hart's best game? Here's how Elaine Vigneault chose to answer that question.
Although no doubt that this was a real solid goaltending performance. I think it was a great goaltending performance from both sides. Not much in the first period at either ends, but in the second and third period, both teams had some real good looks. If you remember the scrambles we had in front of their net, close to banging that puck in, and the counters that they had, the skill that they had coming at our end. Carter made some big saves there. In overtime, we were not the better team. They had the better looks. Carter kept us in, gave us a chance in the shootout.
Like, he said great goaltending performance, but he diverted so quickly to the other goaltender for Pittsburgh. He talked about how basically it was a wild game, more or less, and they survived what happened in overtime so that they could win in the shootout and win the skills competition. I just thought this would be a game where he would kind of put that aside and just acknowledge the fact that he finally saw great signs from Carter Hart. I just thought it was really weird. I mean, maybe I'm being paranoid. I don't know. Let me know in our comments here on YouTube. But to me, it felt like he was holding back. Like he wasn't asked about the other goaltender. He was asked about his goaltender, but he chose to praise both. Like, I just thought that was weird. And if it was an isolated incident, I'd just be like, oh yeah, there, he said he was a great performance. But the fact that throughout the year, really over the last 3 weeks, he's talked about Carter Hart with great hesitancy to talk about any type of improvement that he's had so far in that, even after good performances, not great like last night, but even after good performances. So I did think that was interesting. We mentioned the other day, he's been tight-lipped on Carter Hart. Not this time. I do want to get back to the conversation we started yesterday when it came to this Phillies lineup. And later in today's show, we have a Farzy in the field for you. And the Farzy in the field revolves around the Phillies bats and whether or not you're concerned about the Phillies bats. I am concerned about the Phillies bats. And I don't like the panic button, and I don't like the panic button after 12 games, and I certainly don't like the we're going to the World Series button after 4 games to start the season. However, watching this Phillies offense most recently, I was thrilled that they didn't have to play a game yesterday. I was thrilled that these bats at this moment did not have to face Jacob deGrom. I was doing cartwheels in my living room. Not beautiful, majestic cartwheels, but like Creed Bratton from The Office, where it just kind of just a little one, the legs didn't fully extend, but a little cartwheel. I was doing a Creed Bratton cartwheel over the idea of Mickey Moniak not having to get his first start of this season in center field and bat 8th against Jacob deGrom. I was thrilled at that idea because this offense has struggled so much. And we mentioned, sure, 17th right now in Major League Baseball in batting average. So what would they be over the last, let's say, I don't know, week after they've had all the struggles they've had? Probably the bottom 5. And Bryce Harper has looked lost at the plate. Rhys Hoskins' approach has changed, it seems like. You're trotting out center fielders now with Roman Quinn like he did 2 days ago that have no plan when they go up to bat. They like to get on base so they can show off their speed, but that's about it. You have guys that just look lost at the plate that you can't afford to have lost at the plate. JT Realmuto, you love to see some more power from him. Seeing him bat cleanup still doesn't make much sense to me. But Bryce Harper is the guy that I know it's because of the money. It's the biggest thing, obviously. But Bryce Harper is the guy that also has the greatest potential in this lineup to carry a team. And if the offense is going to struggle, you need, as we said yesterday, one person to step up. And I thought that would be Bryce Harper. And listening to Larry Boa talk about Bryce Harper in spring training kind of gave me hope. It was like with Boa saying it, it meant that the organization was saying it, and it meant that Bryce Harper was feeling it. And Bryce Harper, what Larry Boa said was Bryce Harper needed to be like a 40, 50 home run guy. He needed to be that type of guy that could be that MVP candidate. And when you sign somebody to a $330 million contract over 13 years, you want that guy to be a perennial MVP candidate. That's what you want. That's what you expect. That's what I expected for him to snap back into that type of form when he came here to Philadelphia. And we really haven't seen it. We'll get those little spurts here and there of him being red hot and carrying the team. And it seems like he's going to hit a home run every day for like 2 weeks, right? You have that feeling every time he steps up to the plate. But right now, you don't have that feeling. He's got 2 home runs in the season, 2 weeks. All right. But when you see guys start to struggle like JT Realmuto or Rhys Hoskins, or if Alec Boehm goes into a slump, you want to know that a guy like Bryce Harper's right there to pull everybody out. Now, later in the season, I'd love to see Alec Boehm be the guy to pull those guys out from a slump. I'd love to see Rhys Hoskins be that guy. But right now, when everybody else is struggling, the way they've been struggling over the last week, that's where I would expect Bryce Harper to step up the most. And after Wednesday's game, he came out afterwards and just said that this isn't acceptable. The way the bats are struggling right now is unacceptable. They can't continue to go on like that for the next couple of weeks because they can't afford to fall into a hole. Now, here's the beauty part. No one's running away with this NL East. As we talked about going into the season, it's going to be the toughest division in baseball. Well, right now, these teams are beating the crap out of each other. And the Braves just avoided getting swept by the Marlins of all teams. So, hey, maybe it's a little thought of optimism that crossed my mind. Here it is for you. Little thought of optimism. The fact that the Phillies go into Atlanta, salvage, they don't get swept. Thank you, Alec Boehm's toe, allegedly. But what if this is the year that Atlanta struggles with the Marlins and the Phillies are just fine with the Marlins and they finally get that fish off their back, so to speak? Yeah, I'll bask in that. But Phillies will be back in action, and they get their makeup game much later in the season against the Mets, so we'll continue to follow that, and we'll talk a little bit more about it as the show goes on. But before we get to Derrick Gunn, and before we get to our Farzy in the Field segment where I went out into Center City yesterday, asked people about the Phillies bats if they're truly concerned. Before we get to Morning Rush and all that, I do got to tell you about our friend Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Mother's Day just around the corner, and of course, Steven's got your back. His famous real roses dipped and trimmed in 24-karat gold now come in sunshine yellow. That's right. The new rose is a brilliant shade of yellow that dazzles with sparkles. And Steven also wants to let you know that he's in the love business. And it's not just for diamonds. It's not just for jewelry. For everybody. Give love to everybody. That's why he's in the love business. And that's what he's doing, because over this past year, we found out how important love is. And in addition to brightening your loved one's day, Steven wants to take a portion of the proceeds made with the Sunshine Gold Dip Rose and use that to support local restaurants by catering meals to hospital workers, our incredible nurses, doctors, first responders, and our hospital heroes. Go to IHateStevenSinger.com and send a Sunshine Gold Dip Rose this Mother's Day. It'll be a win-win-win. Win, actually, if you think about it. You'll give sunshine that lasts a lifetime to someone that you love. You'll be supporting local restaurants. You'll be thanking essential workers, and you'll feel good doing it. So how about that? You can't go wrong. It all comes with a lifetime guarantee. And also, it comes with a free personalized gift message, fast and free shipping as well. Simply say, I love you, and honor mom on Mother's Day. Just go to IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com, the other corner of 8th and Walnut. And, of course, at IHateStevenSinger.com. Without further ado, let's talk to our friend Derrick Gunn. He does his own podcast. I call him the Gunn Father. Derrick Gunn. On one. Without further ado, he'll join us here on the Zatos Investments guest line. Us now on the Zatos Investments guest line. You know him as Derrick Gunn. You might know him as Gunner, but I know him as the Gun Father, Derrick Gunn. Gunner, what's happening, brother?
How you doing, my man? It's always good to hear from you.
Oh, man, great to talk to you. As always, we've got so much we got to get to. I'm actually going to call upon your baseball expertise a little bit later in this interview. Of course, we're going to mostly talk Eagles. Yeah. You're a man. You're a jack of all trades, master of pretty much everything. So I'm going to talk a little baseball.
Who are you talking to? What is wrong with you?
Well, I just listened to you tell me how great you are, and then that's how I know.
You have never heard me tell you that. You have never, ever heard me say that.
I know. I'm full of it. But we're going to talk a little baseball, and then now this is what I know you're an expert in.
Yes.
A little fishing, because I'm going to go fishing in the Poconos, and I know you're the man to talk to for that.
Wait a minute. You're going fishing.
Yeah.
You?
Why do you every time I tell you I'm going fishing, you're like, you know how to put the worm on the hook?
Yeah, really. You going? I can't wait to hear these questions. Do you know can you tell me what a hook looks like?
It goes in the water, right?
Do you use live bait or do you use lures?
That is a question. Depending on what type of fish I'm going for. See, I know. At least I know to be specific about what type of fish, right?
Okay. All right. Yeah, okay. Whatever you say.
Yeah. Look at you're the man. All right. Let's talk some football here. Now, first off, I saw you recently talk to Zach Berman from The Athletic.
Yes.
On your podcast, Gun on One.
Yes.
I recently talked to Zach as well. My number one takeaway from the conversation was that this team that really yells and screams from the mountaintops that they work in a collaborative effort needs to actually do that. That was my takeaway from the conversation with Zach. What was your takeaway from your conversation with Zach Berman?
Exactly the same thing, Mark. But as I looked and read comments on social media and listened to comments coming back on various radio outlets, a lot of people wanted to use the word dysfunctional, a dysfunctional organization. And I don't look at it as such, because when you consider, even as out of kilter as it may seem right now, this is still one of the winningest franchises in the NFL over the last 10 years. they've had a lot of success. And even after the 2 seasons after the Super Bowl year, when things started to spiral downward, it was a team 2 years in a row decimated by injuries. And they found a way to make the playoffs. Now, obviously, they couldn't overcome those injuries in 2020, but 2018 and 19, this team rallied and found a way to still get into the playoffs. But I do think in that eye-opening article written by, Ashil Kapadia and Bo Wolf and Zach Berman, some very eye-opening details in terms of, parts of the building being separate and not equal, to the point where entities don't talk to each other. It sounds like the Hatfields and the McCoys in the NovaCare complex, and Howie Roseman being paranoid about information leaking out and things like that. Now, I understand the paranoia part, especially when things are going bad. I mean, that's out of place for an organization that has been at the top and has quickly gone down. I get that, but the other stuff, if you want to build this thing the right way, and as we've seen with other organizations in recent years, as bad as it looks right now, this is not a 5-6 year fix. They can fix this thing in a couple of years, especially the way they position themselves in the draft for this year and next year. Mm-hmm. But the biggest word in the dictionary is the word if they hit on a lot of strategic points over these next 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm. I 1,000% agree with that. And that's very interesting in terms of kind of not talking about it as a dysfunctional franchise, but definitely one that needs to learn how to work a little bit more together.
Yes.
One more thing I want to ask you about that article, and it was how they treated Doug Peterson like a baby. One of the sources said they treated him like a baby.
I thought that was humorous. Yeah.
So, okay, you thought it was humorous, and you were obviously very close with the team. You covered Doug Peterson when he was here in Philadelphia. So, what did you make of that? Humorous, why?
Humorous because I believe a lot of what it says. It said I believed that Doug Peterson was micromanaged beyond belief. When they hired Doug Peterson, many of us in the media, and I'm assuming you being among us, we believed that here the Eagles had hired a coach, handpicked, that they could bend his ear whenever they wanted to. They can approach him with suggestions whenever they wanted to. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Howie Roseman in particular couldn't do that with Chip Kelly. But now you had a guy that was completely the opposite of Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly alienated just about everybody he came across in the building. Doug Peterson was kind of like the Pied Piper. Everybody loved Doug Peterson. He was just so happy to be a head coach in the National Football League. Got this glowing recommendation from his mentor, Andy Reid. He was the perfect opposite of what Chip Kelly was. And, of course, think about it. After that first season, a lot of people still wanted Doug Peterson fired, before that 2017 season. And, boy, did he prove a lot of people wrong. But, human nature, we're all subject to human nature, Mark. And, we can only be micromanaged for so long. We can only be second guessed for so long. How many times you're going to question what we're doing, especially if we're winning more games than we're losing? If you were losing, a consistent losing entity, I can understand the micromanaging. I can understand the constant questioning and second guessing. But when you're winning more games than you're losing and you're getting the team to the playoffs, now, obviously, you throw out what happened this past season, but, enough is enough. And I guess it got to a boiling point after this season. Doug wanted to keep certain people within his fold. That's not out of the norm. What coach doesn't want to be surrounded by people he's comfortable with instead of people who are handpicked for him by somebody else? Sure. We're the same way. We feel more comfortable around family and friends than we do strangers. At least I do. You're like just Happy Gilmore. You just love being around any and everybody you come across. Poor people. I'm trying to shun people every chance I get. So, but there's nothing wrong with that. And obviously, with Doug's resume, what he accomplished here in a short amount of time, and of course he's getting paid to sit at home and go play golf for a year if he doesn't coach this year. He's living the American dream like that. I'd love to get paid $5, $6, $7 million to sit at home and do nothing. Wait a minute, I am doing nothing at home, but I'm not getting paid. Come to think of it.
Yeah, right.
That's a little different.
What did you make of? You mentioned the micromanaging and all that. Yeah. What did you make of they beat the Green Bay Packers, right, and Jeffrey Lurie's like, hey, how come you didn't pass more? Like, what did you make of those types of scenarios? Do you believe those scenarios actually took place?
When Zach Berman and these guys put their stamp of approval on something, I'm not going to disbelieve them because obviously they talked to somebody. Those guys are not going to put an article out there based on fiction.
Sure.
Their article was going to be based on facts. So based on what I read, I would have to believe there's some truth to it. And if that's the case, I'm thinking, okay, you didn't pass the ball 65% of the time, but we beat a Green Bay team we were supposed to lose to.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that enough? The name of the game, I don't care how you win. The name of the game is win. I don't care if you win by a field goal or you blow a team out. You stack up the W's more so than the L's, and you try to get in the playoff. And as we know, you get in the playoffs, anything can possibly happen. So if that is the case, I mean, that's a little over the top. Now, I will also say this. It's Jeffrey Lurie's toy. Jeffrey Lurie can do what he wants to do with it and whatever he wants to do with it. I'm just glad he's not to the extreme of a Jerry Jones or to the extreme of a Daniel Snyder down in D.C. And for the most part, Jeffrey Lurie, year in and year out, has told us that, he likes to hire people, put them in strategic places, and then let them do their jobs and ask questions when he has to. But obviously, based on this article, Jeffrey has come more to the forefront now in terms of wanting to be more hands-on with the organization. Is it good or bad? That remains to be seen. But as of right now, it didn't turn out to be pretty good because your head coach who won your only Super Bowl is no longer here. Most of that staff is gone. Just about every entity that was a part of winning the Super Bowl less than 4 years ago is now gone. After you stood at that podium at that parade and said, this is our new standard, obviously it is not now. So you've had to eat a little crow. Now you've got to start over again. You've got to get better. You've got to get younger. You've got to get better, and you have to do it in a hurry. And I've said this time and time again, Mark, if people see that this team is improving in 2021, not in terms of wins and more wins than losses, but in terms of young talent maturing and moving in the right direction, Philadelphia fan base will have patience because we're already thinking they're going to have a losing year in 2021 anyway. But if they're like 1-15, 1-16 now with their 17th game, people are going to storm the NovaCare complex. So Howie Roseman is under the microscope. Jeffrey Lurie is under the microscope now in 2021.
Speaking with Derrick Gunn, the Gunn on One podcast, available wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you check it out. Gunner, when you look at this team as they stand right now, moving back from 6 to 12,
right.
When you first heard that, what was your gut reaction, and has it changed at all? Are you happy the Eagles moved back, or would you have rather them stayed at number 6?
I would have rather them stayed at number 6 to get a better shot at a definitive impact player, not just a player who will be here for the duration of his rookie contract, but a player who can be a cornerstone for this organization, like a Brian Dawkins, like a Lane Johnson is going to be, players like that, like a Donovan McNabb was for 11 years with his organization and help build something positive over the next few years. But the fact that they moved out, I'm not surprised. We're talking about Howie Roseman here.
Right.
Now, a lot of people are saying, okay, he moved back 6 spots, but look at also what he has done. He has the potential now to have 3 first-round picks in 2022. They're in a prime position still to get a marquee player in the 12th spot. I don't even know if they're going to stay. I wouldn't be surprised if they make another trade to get even more draft picks. I don't know if he's going to move up or move back, but I wouldn't surprise me one bit if Howie decides to make another deal. But when you look at what's sitting at number 12, this is a team that needs a number 1 wide receiver. It needs an impact edge rusher. It needs a thumper at linebacker. I know they picked up this Eric Wilson. Okay, so that's a positive, but you need more linebackers. You definitely need some help in the secondary with Darius Slay back there. So if they decide to go cornerback, wide receiver, which I've been told on a number of occasions right now, if they stay at that 12th spot, they're going to target a wide receiver or a defensive back, depending on how the draft slides. So I think that's where they are right now. But again, I can't emphasize enough. We're talking about Howie Roseman, how he loves to make deals. I am not 100% certain they're going to be picking in that 12th spot.
Mm-hmm. Now that would be something if they decided to move back even further in the first round. I know a lot of people whose heads would just explode, Gunner, if that actually happened.
Oh, yes.
So let's talk about this then. So you talked about Howie Roseman, and he's on a short leash, and that he still has a lot to prove for himself.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me because I feel like the only way Howie Roseman is not here following this football season is if Joe Flacco becomes your starting quarterback, let's say halfway through the season, because that would mean that you don't have the first round or you don't have the picks this year that helped your team automatically.
Right.
That means that Jalen Hurts was a total bust of a pick if you're not using him to be your starting quarterback anymore, and you could have upset the apple cart even more with Carson Wentz. So to set the scene, the only way I see Howie Roseman not being here and picking those the 3 first round picks next year, is if Jalen Hurts is a complete bust. What are the odds that actually happens?
What if Joe Flacco comes in and wins you more games than he loses?
Oh, God.
Think about that.
Oh, God.
What if it happens? What if he comes, makes Howie Roseman look pretty good that he picked up Joe Flacco when a lot of people on the outside looking in have said Joe Flacco is shot. His better days are behind him now. It's a possibility. We have to take that into consideration as well. If Joe Flacco can come in here and these young kids start to develop that they already have in the fold, coupled in with some new additional talent that they're going to bring in here, it makes Howie Roseman look pretty good. Even if they go 7-9, 6-10, again, I can't say it enough. If they're showing progress, Howie Roseman's safe. He ain't going anywhere.
Well, you know what's funny about that is that if Joe Flacco resurrected his career here in Philadelphia, I would be more appreciative and just give a lot of praise to the coaching staff. But who hired the coaching staff? Howie Roseman.
There you go. You go back. I'm telling you, man, the dude's like Teflon, man. I'm telling you. He's a made man in that organization.
It's a made man. The Gunfather has made him.
Yes.
All right, so let me ask you. So at 12 right now, if they do stay at number 12, is there somebody you have your eye on, whether that be Patrick Surtain? You mentioned corner and helping out in the secondary.
Waddle. Yeah. One of those guys, either or. I think if they go either direction of one of those guys are there, it's a pick. It's a pick, solid pick for the future. But then again, I know people want that sexy pick, but let's face it, this team could pick their future offensive tackle because what's that guy's name? Dillard. He ain't working out too well over there. He's in a witness protection program. I haven't seen him play a game since when. Okay. Yeah. So, Jordan Mailata is an option there. Mailata could hold down the left tackle spot, at least for another year. But Mark, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting year. I know a lot of people are saying if they start losing more than winning, I'm not going to watch. Now, you're lying. Yeah, if you're an Eagles fan, you're going to watch football. You're going to watch. Don't tell me you're not watching. Don't even try to tell me you won't watch a game for a second.
No, of course I'm going to watch a game.
I know you're going to watch.
Well, now that there's 17, I might get tired of it, so I might.
No, you won't. No, you won't. Football is an addiction because it's once a week.
It's terrible.
You have 6 days to build up feeding frenzy. And if your team wins, you're thumping your chest until the next game. If they lose, you're miserable at the water cooler for the next week until they get back up on their horse to play that next game. Football is an addiction, man.
I detect no lies.
See,
I
might lie to you occasionally, but not often. So.
And when you do it with such charm that I don't even know it.
Thank you. I have a master's degree in deception.
Last football question for you, then we're going to get to the stuff we want to talk about. Zach Ertz, how does this end? Does it end?
The fact that they still have Zach Ertz on their roster tells me they're still possibly looking at something that could pique their interest for the draft. Zach Ertz doesn't want to be here under his current contract. We all understand that. I don't think the Eagles are going to do much of anything to improve Zach Ertz's financial situation. But it wouldn't surprise me if they kept Zach Ertz here as a security blanket if they don't find what they want in the draft. Now, I'm not saying they won't draft a tight end, but will it be a tight end they feel that they could, move on from Zach Ertz right now? Or someone they need to groom under Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert for a year and then move on from Zach Ertz. So I think right now, if you twisted my arm, I would say the Eagles are still trying to find a way to move Zach Ertz, but they're not just going to give him away.
Mm-hmm. There was one. It wasn't a report, but it's speculation. Right. I think it was Mike Kay of NJ.com to put it out there, saying the Eagles could package a second-round pick and Zach Ertz to try to get another first, to try to move up into the first round or even move up higher in the second round. Probably move up in the first if you're making the trade. Do you think that's at all likely, possible, anything like that?
A team would have to be very desperate to give up a first-round pick for Zach Ertz.
Right. For trade a second round. Eagles would give up a second and Ertz to try to get back to the first round.
If I'm a GM, I'm not making that move based on what we saw from Zach Ertz last year. He's older now. He had the injuries. He's had his injuries in his career. If I'm giving up a first round on a player, it has to be a marquee type player. To me, Zach Ertz is a very good football player, but I don't think he's George Kittle.
Okay.
I don't think he's Travis Kelce. Okay. But he's a very good player. So I don't think Zach Ertz could garner a first round pick.
All right.
It's just the way I feel. And I love Zach Ertz as an athlete and as a person. And if it gets back to him and he takes it personal, so be it. But that's just my opinion. So
that'll just motivate him, and then he'll go out there and have an all-pro year thanks to Derrick Gunn.
And knowing how you like to instigate stuff, I'm sure you'll get the word back to him one way or the other.
I'm a peacemaker. I'm a peacemaker.
I don't even know why I'm doing this show.
Let me just DM him real quick. Actually, to your surprise, let's bring in Zach Ertz. No, all right.
Yeah.
So Gunner, all right. Now, a lot of people don't know this. You are an incredible baseball player, an outfielder.
I was pretty good in my day. I was pretty good.
I believe the major leagues gave you a sniff, if I'm not mistaken.
I had a tryout. I went to an open tryout, blew that one badly with the St. Louis Cardinals. I bombed out on that one. Yeah.
It was for the St. Louis Cardinals?
I believe it was the Cardinals. I was 18 years old. I can't remember back that far. It was the Cardinals. St. Louis. I believe it was.
We came so close. We came so close to never knowing the name Ozzie Smith, but knowing the name more so Derrick Gunn.
You know what? I got to cover Ozzie Smith. I knew Ozzie Smith well for a while. I haven't heard from him in years. I covered Ozzie Smith when he was with the San Diego Padres, and again when he was with the St. Louis Cardinals. And we would see each other. We would see each other stand on the field and just talk like we'd been friends forever. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I heard he was a great guy. I know.
Super guy.
That's awesome.
Super guy.
But you do have a great baseball accoutrement about you.
Excuse you. What?
Yeah,
what? What did you call me?
Accoutrement.
What does that mean?
I don't know. It sounds nice when it talks
about.
It
sounds like an illness.
It's actually a dinner I made.
Okay, all right.
So you good at baseball, obviously. Any chance you have anything left in the tank to go play center field for the Phillies?
Heck no. I don't. My hamstrings are powder.
Have you seen the center fielders now for the Phillies?
Yes. It's not just a job; it's an adventure. Yes.
It was worth the question.
I don't know how the Phillies went into the season thinking that their outfield was solidified. I mean, you got foul-ups, bleeps, and blunders out there, man. I'm telling you, it's bad. If anything, some of these guys should be giving the organization rebates on the money they're being paid. I'm just saying.
Like what, 4 years younger than you?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, 4 years. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, damn right. Yeah. All right, let's get to your other area of expertise. And I just want to I want to be like you, all right?
Oh!
Look at this beautiful fish. What do you got? What do you got there? What is that?
What is you, stalker?
What is that?
That's a carp.
That's a carp. Okay.
Yep.
And you said this is bad eating. You don't eat this fish.
No, you don't eat carp. They're bottom feeders. They're fun to catch. Put up a great fight. Fun to catch. Right. So, yeah, I was glad I was caught it. And, of course, I was with one of my son-in-laws. Had to rub it in his face because I was the only one catch fish that day. So,
what did you catch them on?
It was a night crawler. I mean, you know what a night crawler is, right?
Yes, I know what a night crawler is, Gunner. Thank you.
I'm not talking about a four-legged weasel rummaging through your garage outside, garbage outside. You know what a night crawler is?
Yes, okay. I do. I have them growing under my backyard here.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'll be taking those. I'm going to take a couple of those. So I'm going to the Poconos. We might not have a show on Monday. I'm going to try to do a show, Gunner, from my kayak on Roaming Woods Lake in the Poconos.
When?
On Monday morning at 6 a.m. I'm going to prop my phone up if I can get Wi-Fi out there. I'm going to try to do a show for the good people of Philadelphia, for my audience. I'm going to try to do it from my kayak. Yes, on my kayak.
Oh, I got to see this. As soon as you go face first in the lake, brother, I'm posting that. I'm making some money off this on YouTube. I'm watching this show. You mentioned
YouTube. Please subscribe. So here's what I want to ask you. I'm going to go for walleye.
Yes.
And I'm going to go for large and smallmouth bass, which I read is in this lake, Roaming Woods Lake. So
I have a 9-pound walleye on my wall in my bedroom here. One of the 4 fish I have on my wall in my bedroom is a 9-pound walleye caught in Lake Erie back in the late 1990s. Yep.
What'd you catch them on?
We caught them on some kind of lures. Dude, I can't remember yesterday. You want me to remember back in the late 90s?
Well,
I will say this. Say this stuff. Growing up in the Midwest in Wisconsin, walleye fishing is huge in Wisconsin.
Yes,
if you're fishing for walleye, night crawlers are great bait. A lot of spinner type baits are good walleye fishing. Do you know how deep you're fishing for? Do you have a depth finder as well?
I don't have a depth finder. I was just going to stick my paddle in the water.
Is that a Snoopy tackle box?
All right, come on. All right.
Did you get that at Toys R Us?
No, I didn't get it at Toys R Us. I bought these lures individually. Here, look at this. Okay, this is what I got. All organized, ready to go.
Tackle box?
This is not. This is only part of my tackle box. This is only part of my tackle box. All right. Here's the rest of my tackle box. All right.
No, dude.
No, come on. You'll see this. Come on. I'll show you. All right. I got my hooks in this John right here. I got my hook Johns. I got my knife.
Hook John. Wait a minute. Hold that knife up again.
Here we go.
Is that
Hold
a
on.
bottle opener?
This is not a bottle opener. It's
What
a
is-
knife. There. It's just a little guy.
Is that a real metal or is that plastic?
Yes, it's real metal. This is real metal. This thing's sharp as anything. I was at Cabela's the other day in your neck of the woods. Now I'm like waving a knife at you. That looks great. So I'll put this away. But I was at Cabela's the other day down your neck of the woods, and I'd never been to a Cabela's before, so I had to buy a life jacket because you have to have one on the lake when you're in a kayak. And I bought some other stuff. I bought
You get a
some other
fishing license?
lures. I have my fishing license. Don't you worry. See, that's where my dad comes in. My dad's like, hey, make sure you have your fishing license.
That's
and I'm like,
true. Fishing game words ain't no joke, man. They don't play around.
all right. So here's what I need from you.
Yes.
Just take a look at this bait.
Yeah.
What of this? There's a little spinner down there at the bottom. Then there's some other lures up there. Anything in here you think I could get some walleye or bass with?
All of the ones in there are pretty good bass baits. They're pretty good. Yeah.
All right.
So you're set in that regard.
Okay.
The ones the ones that are the Rapalas in there, the deep dive, if they're deep divers, those are moving action, but you have to get them down because walleye, depending on how deep the lake is, they'll be, especially this time of year, the water's still cold. So they'll be down a good 10, 15 feet. You know, probably. You know.
Okay. All right. So I have weights for that. That's right in the middle are my weights, right in the middle there. And then up here, I got the frog, I got the little minnow, and I got another spinner down low.
Okay. Oh, you're all right. You know, yeah, for small mouth or large mouth, you're okay.
Okay.
As long as you know what you do. Do you even know which end of the rod, the rod that's in the water? Do you
It's amazing. You just.
Look, inquiring minds want to know, man. I'm just asking you a question.
I'll have you know, sir,
Yeah.
that I had to reline my fishing pole. Thank you very much. I had to do the whole thing and take it all off because it was so old and decrepit. Because I haven't been like fishing like a real fishing trip in 15 years, man. And I love it. I love being out there. I can't wait. I can't wait.
So you love fishing so much you haven't been in 15 years.
I had a kid. I joined the workforce.
Hey,
come on, man.
I had 3 kids. I joined the workforce as well. I kept fishing, not as much as I want to. Yeah. It's therapeutic. And I will tell you this: whoever came up with the slogan "A day of fishing beats a good day of work," it's the perfect slogan because as much as I love the challenge of catching fish, when I get skunked, the days I get skunked, it is so relaxing and mind freeing. And I just love being out in nature, watching deer, come in and out of the woods, watching, geese and swans and stuff like that, just flying by. I just enjoy being out there. So people aren't asking me, what do you think about the Eagles? I got my hat on, got my old grungy jeans, got my shades on. People are not asking me. Only wonder, hey, what bait you using? You catching anything? What bait you use? That's all that matters.
What are they biting on today?
Yes, that's all that matters.
I haven't asked that question in 15 years. Hey, what are they biting on? I'm just going to randomly go up to some stranger on the lake and just be like, hey, what are they biting on? Just for the hell of it.
You know what? That's a great way to start up a conversation. Seriously. It happens all the time. Hey, buddy, how you doing today? What are they biting on? You catch anything? Yeah. It's a universal language.
We are so like-minded sometimes it scares the hell out of me, brother.
No, we're not. Don't ever tell that lie.
Derrick Gunn, where is latest podcast Gun on One with Zach Berman?
Yes.
All right,
absolutely.
So people
great
can check that out.
Great listen. Zach, you're so insightful. I have the utmost respect for Zach, not just as a colleague, but as a friend as well.
Great guy.
You had him on your show, so you know what he's like. Very well thought out, very detailed. So yes, everybody out there, wherever you get your podcast, I want to thank Farzy for letting me have this shameless promotion to promote my podcast. Thank you very much. It didn't cost me anything except an appearance on this show. God bless you, my friend.
You get a gift for being on the show.
I get a Snoopy tackle. Dude, that tackle box you have right there would fit in one corner of my I have one big one. It's a backpack tackle box, and I have another one. I have 2 or 3 big tackle boxes, dude.
I'm not surprised. Because
you
won this lure. Congratulations.
What's that?
You won this little lure. Congratulations.
I think I won something like that at a carnival once, if I'm not mistaken. Came home and gave it to the dogs as a toy.
His name is Derrick Gunn, ladies and gentlemen. Gunner, the Gun father. Gunner, thank you so much for coming on, man. Always great catching up with you.
I love you, brother. Thanks for having me on. Anytime.
Love you right back. Bro. I might book you again on Monday if I do the show to be on the lake with me.
Do I get paid?
Oh, God, no.
I ain't doing it. Anytime you need D Gunn, if I'm available, I'm happy to do it for you.
You're the man, brother. Derrick Gunn.
Don't be calling me at 6 a.m. I ain't getting up at 6 a.m.
No, don't. I wouldn't do that to you. No.
Okay.
I wouldn't do that.
Right.
Derrick Gunn joining us on the Zatos Investments guest line. I don't know if I enjoy Hugh Douglas, Q Douglas, Derrick Gunn, probably the people I enjoy speaking to the most on this program. And the chat, I actually had to jump in on the chat, and I'll tell you why. I've never personally jumped in on the chat during one of our interviews on this program. No, I have not. I had to this time because it was just that phenomenal. I'll just say to all you fine people, God bless you. God bless you all. My thanks again to Derrick Gunn. I guess I got to upgrade my tackle box or pill organizer, as somebody said. We'll get to that in a second. My thanks to Derrick Gunn joining the show. Do tell you about our friends at DraftKings, and also this. Check out our friends at Philadelphia Sports Nation, a local Philadelphia sports site covering your favorite teams across blogs and social media. PHLSportsNation.com. Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience. How about DraftKings and DraftKings Sportsbook? Do what I do. Bet with DraftKings right here in the state of Pennsylvania, America's top-rated sportsbook app. They're putting you right in the center of the action to turn $1 into $100. It's like $1 is like $100. I like $100. How do you do that? Well, I'll tell you how you do that. You just bet on a team in basketball to hit a three-pointer, and if they hit that three, you win $100 on a $1 bet. That's called 100 to 1 odds. It's not too bad. This year, teams have been hitting threes at an unprecedented rate, so make sure you get in on this action with DraftKings Sportsbook before this offer ends. 100 to 1 odds if the team, if you're choosing, just hits a three. Come on, get in on it. DraftKings, safe, secure, reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Farzy. That's promo code Farzy to turn $1 into $100 of free bets if your basketball team hits a three in their game. That's promo code Farzy to turn $1 into $100 in free bets for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Pennsylvania only, new customers only. Restrictions apply in partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. I'm going to be eating good this weekend. I'm going to be eating real good. Made some nice braciole. Made some meatballs, made some chicken cutlets for some nice chicken cutlet sandwiches, broccoli rabe, sharp provolone, a little balsamic glaze, just to show off a bit. But you know what? I'll be longing for one meal. After all that, I'll be longing for a meal from my good friend Tony Cavada at Steak and Maine. SteakandMaine.com. Check them out. Northeast Maryland. Whether you dine in a more upscale steakhouse or a casual bar and patio, you'll have the highest quality prime meats, fresh seafood, world-class oyster bar, and freshly prepared sushi. All that and an extensive wine list. And Lord knows I love my wine, especially this Cavada Cellars wine. From his family to your table. How about that? Doesn't get much better than that. Open every day for lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Steak and Maine in Northeast Maryland voted #1 place for steaks in America by the Travel Channel and Cooking Channel. Check it out for yourself. Go to steakandmaine.com for more information. I was just reading actually a couple reviews on Steak and Maine. There's one guy that takes his son to different steakhouses, a traveling salesman, and he takes his son to these different steakhouses. He said the only place they'll go now when they're in Maryland, Steak and Maine. This guy goes all over the Northeast corridor of the United States. Steak and Maine is the place he likes to go to the most. Check it out for yourself, steakandmaine.com. How about FanUp? Well, in just a second, we're going to do our check-in, social media check-in, but we're also going to do even more fan interaction. I took it to the streets of Philadelphia to talk to the people about if they're concerned, if they're legit concerned about the Philadelphia Phillies offense, and that's brought to you by our good friends at FanUp. Make sure you download the FanUp app, and you can do so many things with this because the days of playing fantasy sports alone, they're over. You can issue a challenge to a friend of yours. You can talk smack to that friend on this app, and you can win brand prizes. You can win points. You can win cash. You can win so many great things. Just gave away a Peloton. They gave away a pair of Jordans, memorabilia, all sorts of great stuff. Louis Vuitton bag. How about that? All at the FanUp app. Go to the App Store. Download the FanUp app. Use promo code FanUp. Get 2,000 bonus points right out of the gate. That's FanUp. May the best fan win. Make sure you squad up with your friends as well and have yourself a good time. All right, let's check in now on our social media check-in brought to you by Steak and Maine at steakandmaine.com. So many things just flying all over the place here. This might be a record number of comments for the day here. Free Zach Ertz. Thomas says free Zach Ertz. We're all on that train, that's for sure. He's given so much to this city. Howie is holding him hostage. Henry's checking in with that. I agree. Not right, especially for a late round pick. I agree. I think they do package him in the draft, and I think they use him to move up as part of a a trade that would get you maybe a second-round pick. I don't think they'll get the first, but I think they can move back into the second round. If they package him and say a third-round pick, I think they'd be able to move up and be able to do that. There's still time. Have faith in Bryce Harper. I do have faith in Bryce Harper. Just when you see a team struggle, you expect the big money guys, a former MVP, more importantly, to be able to step up and carry the team. I mentioned JT Realmuto. I think he's leading the team right now in batting average, but I'm talking about hitting with pop. A guy that's going to be able to turn the tides for you, and that's more so on Bryce Harper than anybody else. Don't forget about Mom on Mother's Day. You're damn right, Steven Singer Jewelers. Thanks very much for checking in there, Brett. But what else do we have? Mally, good morning as always, my friend. Gunner making me feel bad and emotional for Doug right now. That's Brett checking in. Yeah, one thing about Doug Peterson, here's the one thing. With Andy Reid, with Chip Kelly, Doug probably out of those guys, the most human. Like watching Doug this past season, especially try to explain away things in press conferences. Oh my God! Like I just felt bad for the guy. Like Doug, bring it in, little bro hug here for a second. I think you need this. And then learning about everything else afterwards, about the goings-on with Howie and Jeff and just how hands-on they really were, how meddling they were with the coaching staff, definitely makes you feel bad for the guy. What else do we have here? Sitting home doing nothing. Mac, have some fun. What else do we have here? We have Gunner is the GOAT. You're damn right he is. Someone needs to give Howie a swirly. Mac, wow, that takes me back. Not to getting a swirly. And not to giving him either, because I'm a nice guy. Gunner, you think football is an addiction because of this scarcity, or how sacred it is? It makes sense. Maybe that's why I'm an addict for sex once per year. Rob, more power to you. Actually, better. Good luck. I hope you have better luck. All right. Anyway, Vince checking in. Just about to ask that. I don't know where that's going. This is weird. I want to get snowed in with Gunner for Christmas. Just seems like a nice guy. That's from Ian. Gunner does have that appeal. Now, I will say after the interview, and that was one of our longer interviews, right? After the interview, I told Gunner, I said, not that you and I would ever want to do this, but if someone ever told us that we had to, like, when we were both at NBC, they had the flash cam. And John Clark and I, when Brian Colangelo was going through the whole burner gate thing, we had to do about an hour and a half. Like we were sitting at our desks, and they said, that Brian Colangelo just got fired. Farzy, John, get to the flash cam. And it was like, and then we had to do like an hour and a half. It was sandwiched around a press conference with Brian Colangelo and the team and all that, or not even Brian Colangelo, but the team. And it was just crazy. Gunner and I could probably do 10 hours. I'm just going to say, if it was all of a sudden, Marc and Gunner, get on the thing, go. They could do 10 hours. We could do 10 hours. It could be like, we're still waiting for Brian Colangelo to come out to the podium. And Gunner and I would be on, our favorite fish that we caught when we were 13. Like, that would be the thing that we would go into. I told Gunner at the end, there's a great episode of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee with Jerry Seinfeld where he takes out his friend and, of course, the executive producer of Seinfeld, Larry David, Curb Your Enthusiasm. And Jerry's line was, after they just get done talking about nothing, go figure, was, man, nobody could kill time like you and me. And there's one thing with Gunner and I, we could definitely kill time. Yeah, we could probably do a 2-hour show. Mally saying Gunner roasting Marc is hilarious. It is hilarious. I do enjoy it. I think we need Gunner, Hugh, and Marc to go away for a week. Thank you, James. Appreciate you. Now, this right here, and I'd do it. This right here, it's T-Brow, I don't know. This might be the greatest comment ever in the nearly 3 months we've been doing this show. So I mentioned to Gunner that I went to Cabela's. I'd never been to Cabela's before, and let me tell you this. If you go to Cabela's regularly, how do you tell the difference between the people that work there and the people that are the clientele? Because it was hard for me. But definitely a fascinating place. I fought the urge to buy an archery set for my friends while we're away, because I just feel like one of us is going to end up getting the old, the old arrow in the hip. Anyway, but here it is from It's Bro. Cabela's was out of tackle boxes, so Marc went to Walgreens and bought a pill organizer. That right there is the greatest thing that's ever been written in our chat. So good hustle to you. It's not a pill organizer. I'm going to be on a kayak, people. I can't open up a big ass tackle box. When you see my kayak, maybe later today I'll post a picture of my kayak, right? When you see it, you'll realize I can't have my dad has like 3 tackle boxes. Like I can't have my dad's version of a tackle box on a kayak, folks. All right, I'll be paddling and whatnot. What else do we have here? Fisher Price has one for his daughter. James, how dare you? Marc's just getting it this morning. That's fine. Bring it. And I went into the chat. That's where I entered the chat and told T-Bro that he had the greatest comment ever and that I'm in vacation mode. Anything can happen. I think that actually freaked out James that I went and entered the chat. James also saying, what are they biting on? Great thing. It's T-Bro, you the man, Farzy, right back at you. I hope I'm saying your name right. I know I'm butchering it. Chat just got weird. I'm out. That was actually from me. Thanks so much to everyone that chimed in on our chat. James can't handle the fact that I entered the chat. JD, I was just watching on Twitch this morning, heard Marc talk about the chat and had to come over. Come on over. No problem whatsoever, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate everybody checking in on that. Broads, what's happening, Broads? We're having fun. All right. This is all right. Thanks to everyone that chimed in on our social media check-in. All right, so that's right there. We just heard from the fans. We just heard from people talking about the show and talking about other things as well. Without further ado, let's get into this week's Farzy in the Field, brought to you by FanUp, where we talk some Phillies baseball in Center City, Philadelphia. I'll just say this: hold for the end. I believe her name was Debbie. Debbie's my new favorite person on this planet. Okay, so here we go. Hugh Douglas, Gunner, Debbie. Don't miss Debbie. We all need a little Debbie in our lives. Here is Farzy in the Field, brought to you by FanUp. Hey, welcome into this edition of Farzy in the Field, brought to you by the great people of FanUp. Today, we took to the streets to ask Phillies fans how concerned they are with the Phillies offense.
So far, pretty concerned. I do think that they'll come around, but so far, pretty concerned. They're not doing well the last few games.
They will turn it all the way around.
All the way around.
All the way around.
All right,
around.
see you at the parade. Whenever you're looking for answers, you always come to a man in a fedora. Sir, are you confident that the Phillies will turn it around?
Definitely. Harper will get it together.
So obviously center field is a big bone of contention, big sticking point with a lot of people. They just called up Mickey Moniak. Do you think he'll be the answer for their center field troubles?
If you could see my face, it was a nice little smile. I don't really quite know. Big hype. Who knows? Time to sink or swim.
I'm very concerned. I looked at Adam Hazley and the ball dropped in front. He didn't even make an effort. I was really disappointed. I mean, people don't play the game the way they used to anyway. It's all about offense, but I find it offensive.
Now, Mickey Moniak is just called up, the former first-round pick. Are you confident he'll have a good year, or you're confident he'll do a better job in center field?
I think he'll do a better job if he hustles. That's why I like Charlie Hustle, because he would hustle.
Got another sports fan here, my new friend. Let's go ahead and say hi, Debbie.
Hi!
That's my new friend, Debbie. All right, Debbie's got, first off, one of the coolest masks I've seen so far. Go ahead, Debbie. Tell me about your mask.
It's the Link, the home of the Eagles. Yay! Woo!
That's all right. All right, I actually want to ask you about another sports team in our city. Now, are you a Phillies fan as well?
I love the Phillies.
All right, are you confident the Phillies will turn it around?
Absolutely.
We all need your optimism. Now, Mickey Moniak has been called up to play center field. Hopefully, are you confident Mickey Moniak will be their answer in center?
Yes, absolutely.
You know what? That's it. That's all the optimism I need for one day.
Phillies!
One more time.
Go Phillies!
Debbie, you're the best. Debbie's my new favorite. Oh boy. Debbie is by far, she's my favorite right there. Debbie saying this sentence is the most Philadelphia sentence ever. Debbie saying basically, when I asked her about her mask, and she goes, It's the link, home of the Eagles. I just wanted to give her a big old hug, man. She was great. Farzy the Field will be available, of course, later today on all social media platforms, as will the show, of course. Now let's jump into our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motor Cars and SkyMotorCars.com. So much to get to. Big bets coming up in just a second here. First and foremost, 17 games left in the season. I touched on this earlier in the show. Joel Embiid versus Joker. And I only call him Joker because I butcher his name every single time. Nikola Jokic. He's leading right now. Now, the ESPN did a poll, and this is what they did. They polled 2 different media members from each market. 2 different media members. And it came back 90 first-place votes out of 101 went to Joker. Embiid got 5. So there's that. Now, here's the saving grace here. This is for the MVP voting, obviously. Joel Embiid, that game didn't count. It didn't count the most recent game where he dropped 39 on the Nets, and granted, it was a depleted Nets team, and it also doesn't count his 36-point performance from before that against the Mavericks. So it didn't count 2 of his most recent games, and it was more recently after his injury, coming back from injury, and Joker right now is basically running away with it. Over the 3 weeks that Joel Embiid was out, Joker ran away with this. LeBron James has missed time. So a lot of interesting stuff here with these votes. But Joel Embiid still second, a very distant, blown out of the water second. 17 games left in the season for Joel Embiid. These next 5 games, Clippers, Golden State, then the Suns, and then they also play the Bucks twice. This is a game, this is a stretch here over the next 5 games where Joel Embiid can reestablish himself and close that huge gap between him and Joker, and I'm hoping and think he will do that. I think it'll be a crime, an absolute travesty, if the first center since Shaquille O'Neal in 2000, it'll be a crime if the first center since Shaquille O'Neal in 2000, in 21 years, it'll be a crime if the first center to win MVP is not Joel Embiid, the best center in the game. Do the right thing, people. So we'll get to that. What else do we have here? One other theory that's out there is Jamal Murray now being out might mean that the Jazz start to take a little bit of a hit. I don't think so. Excuse me, the Nuggets. The Nuggets will take a little bit of a hit. I don't think that's the case. If anything, this will only help, I think, Joker's numbers and make him look a lot better to the national audience, unfortunately. We do have some baseball conversation that we touched on earlier when it came to this Phillies offense. They're back at it tonight. They start a series with the Cardinals. Carlos Martinez takes on Zach Eflin tonight. So Zach Eflin remains the starting pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. We'll see how the Phillies fare tonight. I would assume Mickey Moniak will be back in it here. But right now, you look at that Phillies offense, 25th in home runs, 26th in runs scored in Major League Baseball. So definitely need to pick that up a little bit. But again, I think Mickey Moniak will be back in the lineup. On a more positive note here, how beautiful is this? Michael Jordan will be swearing in. Michael Jordan will be inducting Kobe Bryant into the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame. How insane is that? That is incredible. The basketball, James Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts. If you haven't been there, I highly recommend it. So how awesome is that? Michael Jordan will be speaking at Kobe's induction. That is just fantastic. Let's close it out with Big Bets, our Big Bets segment tonight. I'm doing it. I don't care. Sixers -2 going up against the Clippers tonight. I'm going Sixers, baby. They win this game. Joel Embiid drops 45 points, and all is right with the world. That's what's happening tonight. So I also like Joel Embiid's over. I did win my bet last night. Golden State, I told you yesterday, -5.5 going up against the Cavs. And Golden State took care of business 119-101. Steph Curry remains very good at shooting a basketball. Ladies and gentlemen, I will let you know as soon as possible. When I get up to the Poconos, right, I'm going to go out on the water Saturday, tomorrow, and I'm going to try to hit up my producer, Jim Hyden. I'm going to try to hit up the Buzz Sports Entertainment, and I'm going to say, guys, we can do this. That's my goal, that I can get some internet connection while I'm out there on my kayak, right? And then I'll do the whole thing. I'll play it up. I'll wear the fishing vest. I'll bring my pillbox. And I'll have 2 lines in the water. I'll have a bobber rig on one with a night crawler, and then I'll have a lure on the other so you guys see me doing the action, right? Yeah, that's right. Jim Hyden produced this program. This is a Buzz Sports and Entertainment production. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm also going to ask you on social media, FanUp 5. Do you find people going into the weekend? What are your biggest questions in Philadelphia sports? Hopefully, we'll have them answered by Monday, or hopefully not Tuesday, but maybe Tuesday morning as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following. Thanks for listening. Download it wherever podcasts are available, and also subscribe on YouTube. You people on YouTube, let me tell you, great comments today. Great comments. Seriously, enjoy the weekend. Let's go Sixers. Let's go Flyers. Let's go Phillies, everybody. Have a great weekend. Hopefully, I'll talk to you Monday from the water. See you guys. Take it easy.